ratifications under old business and also the minutes. I just want to make sure we covered all our bases.
Okay, I've never been involved in the ratification before. Do we just do a motion to ratify, or?
Right.
Okay. Do we have a motion to approve the November and January minutes and ratify the January meeting?
So moved.
We have a motion. Do we have a second?
Second.
Very good. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Next on the number 5 is the approval of November and December financials that we ratified or accepted last time, and the January financials. Joan, would you go over them?
Sure. Water sewer revenue was $365,785. Water sewer expenses $225,734. Revenue exceeded expenses year to date of $77,295. Gas revenue was $512,894. Gas expenses $81,077. Expenses exceed revenues $169,818. Let me check that. I think that's revenue exceeds expenses.
I think it is too.
Yes.
Yeah, it is. It's revenue exceeds expenses.
Any questions or comments on the financials? Very good. Do we have a motion to approve or ratify November and December's financials and approve January's financials?
Motion to approve.
We have a motion. Do we have a second?
Second.
We have a motion and a second. All those in favor say aye. Aye.
Aye. Aye.
Opposed? Very good. The ratification for November and December and January financials are accepted. Kim, do you have your general manager's report?
Yes, just mentioning a couple of things quickly. Our audit is wrapping up in the final stages. Daniel and the auditor are working out some final details, so I hope to have that at the next meeting for presentation. Also, the raw water project, we had a progress meeting today, and we expect the delivery of those pumps to be sometime in the next 2 weeks so that we can get that project underway. That's and that project, the longest time is waiting for the pumps to be manufactured and delivered. And so it should move fairly quickly after that. City Hall is still open to the public. That has gone fairly well. I also want to mention that we did receive insurance proceeds from the water leak that occurred in front of the water plant and had damage on our driveway, and we received $27,000 from our insurance. So I have gotten on a schedule for correction of that driveway later in the spring. So that was a good thing. The Tennessee gas pipeline mediation is still ongoing. Lauren and I've talked about this a little bit. The rate increase was on our January gas bill. I think that we should give it another 30 days, see what happens. I hate to put a rate increase in effect on the gas side that we have to turn around and refund. And I think that we'll land somewhere in between.
Okay.
So I feel comfortable that we can manage that, especially since we're not where we were last year on the gas side or the water side. I think that's a result of a lot of factors, but at least right now we're in the positive side on gas. And I just don't want to do something unnecessarily with our customers, especially with everything else going on. The governor last night approved for another month of Zoom type meetings another 30 days. So one question I was going to ask in my report was to see if you all want to do that another month. Are you comfortable with this, or do you want to meet in person?
I'm fine with it. What about the rest of you? What are your thoughts on it?
I'm
Good
fine.
either way.
Yeah, either way for me is good.
Okay.
Okay. Well, why don't we plan on leaving it a Zoom type meeting for the next meeting, and if any business occurs between now and then, and then hopefully maybe in April we can be back
Okay.
in person. Everything seems to be headed the right direction, so hopefully it will stay that way. I think that's all I had of my report.
Okay. I asked a question, but I can't remember what it was. Oh, yeah, I'm not sure. Old business. Or anybody have any questions or comments on Kim's report? Very good. Old business, I&I update.
I would like to mention the CDBG project is about 75% complete at this time. We've gotten some major corrections of I&I in our system. We hope that will make a difference in our flows. The remainder of the work that's left is primarily on Gateway, and you may have seen the work being done there. So the work that remains is quite difficult, and that's going to continue on probably for another 3 to 4 weeks. Also, maybe coming back to you all for some additional work under that contract. We're looking at adding some segments and talking to the contractor because we have a really good price with that, and we talked about that early on. So that may be coming up at a future meeting. But we've been really pleased with the work, the community. I've gotten very few complaints.
Oh, great.
Contractors done a good job. We've had to have water turned off in some areas to help with the construction on Gateway, and our customers have been very understanding. Hopefully that continues because we've got a little more to do. But that's it on that.
Very good. Next is to ratify the approval we had last month of the updated COVID employee policy. I think there were just a few changes in that, Kim, but do we have a motion to ratify that update?
Motion to ratify?
We have a motion. Do we have a second?
Second.
Very good. We have a motion and a second. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Opposed? The ayes have it, so that's been ratified. Next is to ratify the approval of credit card refund policy extension through February. Do we have a motion to ratify that?
So moved.
Okay, and we'll take that as a second also. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Very good. That ratification is accepted. Next is ratify the approval of attorney-client engagement agreement with Sharon Reynolds Clark. Since Greg is no longer representing us, we looked at the agreement and accepted that last month. Do we have a motion to ratify that?
Motion to ratify.
We have a motion. Do we have a second?
Second.
We have a second. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Very good. That ratification for the approval is done. On new business is a request for the leak adjustment from Rockwood Housing.
Yes, we received a request from Rockwood Housing Authority. They had several leaks that had to be corrected, which we actually helped them correct under our mutual aid agreement. And they have asked for assistance with their bill that was rather large. They have been given a previous adjustment in June of 2020. You all voted to do that based on our previous policy. So it is, up to you all. These are brought to you on a case-by-case basis because basically with Servline in existence now, we really haven't had a set policy that we administratively handle like we previously did.
Now the serve line for places like Rockwood Housing is just coming online. Is that correct, Kim?
Right. It came online February 1st, and they have been notified of that. So this leak occurred prior to that. So they didn't have another option to sign up for prior to that.
Okay. And our previous policy said what as far as
basically our previous policy would split the cost of the water that was of the leak 50-50 and then write off the full amount of the sewer.
Okay.
And that's how we calculated the $1,471.43.
Okay. But that policy also stopped at one per year. Is that correct?
Right. It was once every 12 months. So, but like I said, the policy's not really been utilized by staff since we've had Servline. So.
Okay. And I understand where they're coming from and everything else. Our old policy did limit it to one refund or splitting of the bill per year. I hate hate to change the policy when everything is ending right now. My opinion would be to stay with the policy. I don't know if anybody else has any questions or comments, what they think about that.
How big is this adjustment?
It would be $1,471.
Okay, I got you.
And like I say, I would, my own opinion is if it, nothing had happened within the last 12 months, I'd be in favor of it. I just, with the old policy, it was one time a year. So, any other comments, questions? Anybody's thoughts on what we should do with this?
So what you're thinking is that we don't do an adjustment because that'd be 2 in 12 months.
That would be my opinion, Mark. Just trying to keep things the way they have been.
I mean, if that's what the policy was, I'd probably agree.
Any other comments, questions?
I agree with the policy. I follow the policy.
Okay. I think I agree with you there, Jeff. Anyway, does anybody want to make a motion then to not make an adjustment for Rockwood Housing?
So moved.
Do we have a second?
Second.
We have a motion and a second. All those in favor of no leak adjustment, say aye. Opposed? Very good. Kim, you'll get back with them then?
I will.
Okay. The second on the new business is request for leak adjustment from Victorian Square.
Yes, it's kind of interesting. Both of these requests hit at the same time. Victorian Square had a leak in their January bill. If we calculate the adjustment under the policy, it would be a bigger adjustment. It's $2,646.96 that would be adjusted off of their bill. They did have we did an adjustment for them, but that was in 2018. So it has been more than a year in their case. Once again, they would qualify under Servline from this point forward to be added to that. And like I said, I've notified both these that they can do that to remind them. Plus they were also sent brochures. So hopefully these requests will kind of disappear after that.
Okay. And again, they didn't have the opportunity before this, so.
Right. Correct.
So this one, at least in my opinion, would follow under the policy that we had before of one adjustment per year. Anybody else have any comments, questions?
If we're going by policy on that first one, you're right. We need to go by policy under this one also.
Okay. Very good. Anybody else? Then do we have a motion to approve the leak adjustment for Victorian Square?
So move.
We have a motion. Do we have a second?
Second.
Have a motion and a second. All those in favor say aye.
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 Opposed? Motion carries for the leak adjustment. C is consideration and approval of credit card refund policy after February.
Yes, I put a copy in there of just our comparisons of how much traffic we're having versus checks, credit card payments, draft payments. Draft payments have gone up. Credit card online has gone up considerably, but we have been adjusting those fees each month.
Mhm.
It's becoming quite a bit of revenue that we're giving up because we refund it back to their account. I wish the fees weren't necessary. However, we've also had in the past month, we've had several people use pretty large amounts that they owed, which I had not really expected, which in turn ended up with pretty large refunds back to their account. So I think we need to, if we continue it, that there ought to be some parameters put on it so we wouldn't have to have such large refunds. It's a percentage of how much they pay. So if they pay a really large bill, then it's a large refund. We started this with COVID. We continued it because the office was closed, several times over the past year. The office is now open. I might suggest that we discontinue the practice as long as the office is open, but that is up to you all. It has been good to have so many people paying online. And I don't know how many will continue when they actually have to pay the fee.
Okay. Any questions or comments from the board members on whether to continue this or not?
If we don't, is there any way to notify, like a 30-day notice that says, hey, we're not going to continue this anymore?
We could. If you all wanted to, we could send out a flyer and bills and say it'll be discontinued maybe April 1st and we continue it through March to give kind of a warning. That would be fine.
Okay.
I just think hopefully we've retrained some people. They'll realize how convenient it is and they'll continue to do it even if it costs them a few dollars. But
I think they will. I think they like the convenience. They know what's going to cost. They'll do it anyway.
Right. Yeah.
Very good. Any other questions or comments on that? I think Mark had a good point. If we would go through and put a flyer in the next bill coming up, continue it through March. Again, anybody have any other ideas or comments? Do we have a motion then to discontinue that for now at the end of March, and we'll put a flyer in the March bills, I guess it would be, to explain that?
So moved.
Do we have a second?
Second.
Very good. We have a motion and a second. All those in favor say aye.
Aye. Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries, so we'll continue that through March then. Next on the agenda is consideration and approval to apply for state revolving fund program priority list for water modeling and water loss project.
We have been struggling, and I know I've talked to some of you about it. December, January, and on into February, we have been struggling with major water loss in our system. I think there's several factors. Part of it we relate to a wholesale customer, which we actually will get paid for that, so that's not truly a loss, but that's part of our issue. The other part is probably smaller leaks that we're not seeing. We've done a lot of work with our crew. We've looked for them. We fix a few things, and then more pop up. And part of it is the time of year. It's always a hard time in the winter. But under the state revolving fund program, there is money available for projects to look for water loss, prepare water modeling, that type of study. The cost can be anywhere from, for our system to put in the metering systems and things that we would need in the zone areas, which I could explain that further if you've got questions, but in those areas could run up to anywhere from 350 to 450,000. Obviously that's not in our ongoing budget. If we weren't to get available funds, then I think we would have to do some of that based on doing a little bit at a time, 1 meter at a time kind of situation. But in order to try to be eligible for this money, the first thing you have to do is get on the priority list and name your project. So what I would like to do is to go ahead and get that in, and then if we were to get selected, then we would come back and we would discuss how much of the money that's available as a grant, how much would be a loan. They do sometimes have loan forgiveness based on disadvantaged communities, so we'd have to see if we can qualify in that category. But like I said, the first thing is to get on this list. So I just wanted to go ahead with that if you all were open to that idea. It does not commit the utility to doing the project or a time frame for the project.
Okay.
Really to get our name in the hat.
Anybody else have any questions or comments? I guess not. Do we need a motion or anything to do that, or just say go ahead and do it, Kim?
I'd like to have a motion just so we have it on record.
Okay. Do we have a motion to apply for the state revolving fund program?
Motion to move forward on that.
We have a motion. Do we have a second?
Second.
We have a motion and a second. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Very good. Go ahead and do that then, Kim.
Okay. Thanks.
E is consideration and approval for professional services from Rye Engineering for acoustical leak detection in water system.
This is the company that really they specialize in leak detection. They came in and helped us for a couple of days looking for leaks about a month ago. I'd like to go ahead and have them come in and do leak detection in the main core area of our water system, and that's the $10,900. They bring in acoustical leak detection equipment, which works much better on the cast iron pipes and things that we find in the older part of our system. I have our staff with our leak detection out working on the outer edges of the system now. But I think together maybe we can hopefully find some of the leaks that we're missing right now because we're not seeing them. And they could come in I think he told me March 8th would be the soonest they could come in, and they would stay a couple of weeks and survey those areas, and then we would try to fix whatever leaks they found and see if that could help our problem. So the last item was more of a long-term approach. This is more of a immediate approach, but it is over $10,000. So I wanted to get approval of it is a professional service because they're an engineering firm.
Okay. And early March is pretty quick anyway, I would think. So.
Right. They've been very, very quick to help. They're actually in Memphis right now helping that system because of the storms that hit. They've had a lot of pipes burst. So
okay.
I think the storms that just happened will make us all think of what we do in that case, which happened in Texas and West Tennessee is pretty humbling. So,
Very good. Any comments or questions from anybody? I think with the water leaks and stuff we've been witnessing, it would be a good way to start. And this was about what, 20% of the total project that you were looking at, Kim?
not quite 20%.
Right. Okay. I was thinking it was in the $50,000 range, something like that. But,
Yeah.
okay.
Yeah, there's different stages we would do depending on how much money is available that we could.
Okay.
If we were to put in permanent metering areas, some of those maybe $30,000, $40,000 each place. That's what, the price can go up quite a bit from there. But that's something that could be done over time if we did not get the money in a lump sum to do it.
Okay. Very good. Then do we have a motion to approve the $10,900 for services from Rye Engineering?
Motion to approve.
We have a motion. Do we have a second?
Second.
Motion and a second. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Very good. Kim, go ahead and do that.
Okay, thank you.
And last is consideration and approval of collection list updated January 2021.
And this is just our normal. Okay, we try to stay quarterly. It doesn't hit exactly quarterly, does it, John? But it's pretty close to update our collection efforts. So you all approve this list, is then sent to our collection agency, and this one does not have any really large ones. Normally, if there's some that are over, say, $1,000, then we'll send those to our attorney. But all of these will probably just go straight to the collection agency.
Okay. Very good. Do we have a motion to approve the collection list?
So moved.
Very good. We have a motion. Do we have a second?
Second.
Very good. We have motion and second. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Very good. Kim, that's been approved. Number 9 is communication from the board members. Joe, since you're showing right now, do you have anything?
I finally figured out how to get the sound to work. Yes, I just want to say I really appreciate Kim and her staff. They've heard this from us before, but they do really an excellent job. And through all this COVID stuff, they've kept our customers with water, sewer, and gas. So I really appreciate them.
Very good. Mark, you have anything?
She just echo what Joe says. Them guys got a tough job this time of year when they have to go out and get in water and it's 20 degrees. And I for one, appreciate the job they do for us.
Amen. Jeff, did you have anything?
I compliment the job they've done. I've seen them out all hours of the night and on weekends, so it's much appreciated.
Yeah, very good. And I agree with that 100%. The whole crew does a great job, and there's some tough nights. There's no doubt about it that it's really hard. So we do appreciate everybody's efforts with the COVID and everything else going on. Hopefully it's on its way to being better, but I guess we'll play that by ear and see what happens. But again, thanks to everybody. If nobody has anything else, do we have a motion to adjourn?
Move we adjourn.
Second?
Second.
Very good. See you next month on Zoom.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Take care.
Bye.